Let me tell you a story. So, the other day, I was just hanging around on my computer. Same old teenager things. I'm usually logged onto Skype while I'm on the computer and leave it there in case a friend wanted to randomly call me. So, it didn't surprise me all too much when I got a sudden Skype call as I was browsing Facebook. What did surprise me though was that I couldn't see who it was that was calling me. There was no name. There was just a blank space where there was usually a username to tell me who was trying to contact me. I figured it was just one of my friends playing a prank on me, so I just said the hell with it and accepted the call. There wasn't anybody there. It was completely black, so I hollered a hello. No response. There was nothing coming from my headphones. Not even the random background noise you hear when no one's speaking through the microphone. I decided to type out a message, simply sending another hello. There was no response to that either. I decided I would just leave it, but for some reason I opened up another window instead of ending the call. Just as I opened up Facebook again, I got a Skype message back. Don't back away from me. Well, that was pretty creepy, I thought. I decided to message back. Who is this? Suddenly, the sound turned on, and I heard a loud, wheezing laugh. The camera was still black, but then it flickered. I couldn't make out what I saw at all. It was like trying to catch and remember perfectly a single frame during a movie reel with your naked eye. Almost impossible. I figured it had to be one of my friends playing a prank on me. But don't get me wrong, it was working. I was scared witless. This time, I decided to speak fiercely. Are you going to tell me who you are, dick? I heard the wheezing laughter again, but this time, it came from behind me. I was almost sure of it. Not from my headphones. I spun around quickly, but it was far too dark to see anything. With a black screen from my Skype call and a dark wallpaper background, there wasn't enough bright light to see anything around my room. I decided I must be getting paranoid, and it was from my headphones, so I turned back around to the computer screen. I saw a small, dim light on the Skype video call. It seemed to be getting bigger and bigger. I shivered as I moved my head forward to get a closer look, and saw a person's head move over the dim light of the screen. That was my head. I'm sure you've heard of Skype. It's a free, instant messaging program, allowing voice and webcam chat with people from all over the world. I've been using it to keep track of old friends. We all went off to college a fortnight ago. Last week, I was talking to Annie, a girl I used to go to school with. We both just moved into our flats. We were both single, and the first semester hadn't begun yet, so we found ourselves with plenty of time to chat. Usually, we'd Skype at least once a day. The stuff we talked about isn't hugely interesting. She'd bought new headphones, I watched The Princess Bride for the first time, and it was just nice to have some familiar company amidst the time of such great upheaval, you know? Anyway, it was a Tuesday morning. I'd been out clubbing the previous night and was pretty groggy and hungover. But I was awoken by the plaintive buzzing of a Skype call. Cursing the fact that I'd left my laptop on and massaging my temples, I stumbled out of bed. Hello? My bleary eyes struggled to focus on the painfully bright monitor before me. Annie was, of course, dressed, made up and grinning, sporting her new headphones. She gave me a cheery wave, to which I responded with a half smile. "Well, aren't you the life of the party this morning?" she teased. "You should have seen me last night. My dance moves put the whole club to shame." "Big fish, little fish, doesn't impress anyone. Hey, don't you have an introduction meeting with your tutor today?" I glanced at my calendar, but the ink refused to stop squirming on the page. I assumed she was right, but even the small amount of sunlight that seeped into my gloomy domain under the curtains was eye-watering. "Yeah, screw that," I groaned. "What about you? What are you doing today?" "Hoping to get a call from Erin. She just took off yesterday during a fire drill. She left a letter on her desk saying that she was going home." "Which one's Erin again?" I asked, half serious. You know how it is. Your friends talk about so many people that they just blur together after a while. Annie made an unimpressed face. "My flatmate. She lives across the corridor from me. She just vanished. I mean, it's only been one day, but we were thinking about calling her parents just to check up on her." I shrugged. "Do it. Better safe than sorry, eh?" Before she could reply, there came the sudden shrieking of an alarm. Annie said something which was drowned out by the noise. I covered my ears, wincing. What? What did you say?" I asked. She had to shout directly into the microphone. "I said, that's the fire alarm. I better go outside or the warden will have a fit and make us do the whole thing again." "What time shall I call back?" I asked, raising my voice as much as my pounding headache would allow. "Don't worry, I'll only be gone for like 10 minutes. I'll just leave Skype on." And with that, she was gone, pulling the headphones off and placing them on the keyboard. After a few minutes, the alarm cut out. Then the door opened. It wasn't Annie, though. It was wearing a blue, paint-stained boiler suit, a beanie-style hat, and a mask made from the bleached skull of some kind of goat or sheep. My eyes were drawn to its hand, however, a rubber glove wrapped around a hook, the kind you see behind the counter in a butcher's shop. For a few seconds, I just sat there, numbly wondering if it was Annie playing a creepy joke on me. Then, I snapped into action. "What the hell do you think you're doing?" I yelled. "Who are you?" There was no response from the figure. It couldn't hear me. The headphones were still plugged into Annie's laptop. Instead, it simply stood there, taking in the room. 10 seconds later, it began to approach the desk. I fumbled for my phone. I had to warn Annie. I selected her number from the speed dial, not taking my eyes off of the figure on the screen. It was peering intently into the camera, eyes glittering behind empty sockets. Dialing tone, click, ringing. The masked figure froze. Then, slowly and deliberately, it reached its free hand off camera. I squinted against the pixelated image. Then, my heart sank. It was holding Annie's phone. She'd left it on her desk. The figure cocked his head to one side, throwing me what I presume was supposed to be a pitying look, before it hit the off button on the mobile and placed it beside a laptop. It reached into its pocket, producing something white, and dropped it atop a keyboard. I only saw it for a second, but it looked like an envelope. It wandered across to a wardrobe, opened the door, and climbed inside, stooping to fit. It hesitated as it did so, and turned to look directly at the webcam. The light caught its teeth, as though it were flashing me a cruel grin, then pulled the wardrobe shut. I glanced down at my phone. I had to call the police. There was no question of that. But even as I dialed the first 9, I realized the futility of the gesture. There would be the bother of them finding and contacting the department in any city 50 miles away. I called anyway. Dialing tone, click, ringing. "You're through to the emergency services. Which service do you require?" "Yeah, I need to talk to..." I paused mid-sentence. I had paused because the door had opened and Annie hurried inside. Her hair was wet from the rain, and she smiled as she approached the webcam. I yelled as loud as I could for her to run, and I felt the tears pinching the corners of my eyes. Annie didn't hear me. She just sat down, picked up the headphones, and began to adjust the strap length. Over her shoulder, the wardrobe door stirred. "Hello, sir? Which service do you require? Sir? Sir, are you hurt? Do you need an ambulance? Are you still there? Sir?" It was a regular Friday night, and I was up late chatting with my friend Bradley on a virtual chat room that we had found online. He told me and the other people on the chat that he could stay up as late as he wanted because his parents were away until the weekend, so he had the house to himself. We stayed on there for a few hours, having fun with these other people. Eventually, my mother began calling out for me that it was time to sleep. As I was about to log off, I decided to ask Bradley what he was doing tomorrow. I thought he might want to stop by my house for a bit. He did not reply for a while, until Bradley is typing a message. Then it went blank. Bradley is typing a message. Nothing again. "Whatever, man, I'm going to bed. We'll talk about it tomorrow," I responded. It was strange for him to just stop replying like that. I did not hear from him again until the next day, when I logged onto the chat site. He apologized for not replying last night, saying he had just been busy. We had a brief exchange, and he said he would come over soon. He kept telling me that it was urgent. I asked him why he did not wait to see his parents first, who would be home shortly. He insisted that there was no time, and he had something really important to show me. Then he logged off. I thought that was out of character for him, as he usually put his family before anything. I grew curious at what he wanted to show me so badly. I expected him to be over soon, as he only lived about 20 minutes away. That quickly changed when I received a phone call. It was Bradley's parents, who had just come home and sounded extremely worried. They asked if I knew anything on Bradley's whereabouts, to which I told them not to worry, because he was, in fact, on his way over. The phone fell silent. A few seconds later, I heard his mother give a deathly scream. His father took a deep breath and gravely strung together a sentence that I will never forget. "Get out of the house now," he muttered. "Bradley's here. He's dead." They had found Bradley's lifeless body hung up like a coat in the wardrobe. I quickly ended the call. It was becoming apparent to me why he had asked if I would be home alone. Suddenly, I heard the back door creak open. I did the first thing I could think of and quickly crawled under my bed to hide. I heard the sound of footsteps slowly coming over I dared not to open my eyes. However, when I dreadfully peeked through my fingers, I saw these pale, white, cold, bare feet coming towards my room, almost in slow motion. As they slowly approached the bed, I could hear the dampness of the footsteps peeling away from the floorboards. I felt my heart pounding, and I held my breath. Just when I thought that I could not possibly get any more terrified, my phone let off a loud beep. I had received a text message. It was from Bradley's phone. "Where are you?" That was when the feet stopped abruptly, dead in their tracks.